Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. Today we had Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen in front of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce talking about President Biden's infrastructure plan, going full sell mode here on trying to get people on board, saying that the plan will enhance net profitability of corporations here in America and improve global competitiveness when we look at our economy here versus those abroad. And for more on what we heard from Janet Yellen, I want to bring on Yahoo Finance's Fed reporter, all things reporter, Professor Brian Cheung, joins us right now. Brian?
Hey, Zach. Well, that's the perfect way to describe it. Really a selling effort from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen for that $2.2 trillion infrastructure plan, which aspires to have many types of spending projects over the next 10 years. But Secretary Yellen's message to the Chamber of Commerce is let's not pay too much attention to the price tag. In remarks earlier this morning, she was saying that any sort of infrastructure spending will be offset by changes to the corporate tax code. She said that she wants to bring those corporate tax levels back to, quote, historical norms. We don't necessarily know what number that might be as the Biden administration continues to try to negotiate with Congress on what that package ultimately will look like. But we also know that some of that spending might be offset by changes to the international corporate tax rate. As we know, Janet Yellen's been pushing very hard for an international global minimum tax rate to try to stop companies from gaming essentially tax rates that might be more favorable in other jurisdictions. She hopes that that's going to bring more of the taxable base back into the United States so that the United States can collect that revenue. And another point is that she also wanted to clamp down on individual tax collection. She said that's the reason why the Treasury is trying to beef up IRS resources so that they can stop evasion by some of the wealthier individuals in this country. But broadly, and very interesting bit here, she said, quote, the prevailing focus has been on the need to decrease and then limit the size of government as a share of the economy when it comes to previous fiscal spending. She said that's a reason why discretionary spending in this country hasn't been good. In short, the economist in training essentially saying, don't worry too much about the price tag. It's time to think big is the word that she used. So again, we'll see if this moves the needle down in Washington, D.C. But the Treasury Secretary is saying now is the time to go big, guys.
And Brian, we've heard the administration increasingly say that if we're going to build back better, we need to build back greener. I mean, that's sort of been the pitch of putting sustainability and climate at the center of this infrastructure proposal. What more did we hear from Janet Yellen on that today?
Yeah, she talked a bit about climate change in the speech this morning to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce as well. And she was really criticizing the previous administration, saying, quote, unfortunately, in recent years, the federal government largely ignored the problem while ceding economic leadership to other countries. And she said that's a reason why, for example, China is getting a move on climate greener initiatives that she said the United States needs to keep up with. That's a reason why the infrastructure bill is hoping to address some of those energy related issues as well. But the Treasury Secretary is saying now is the time to not only think about infrastructure, but think about greener infrastructure. Again, nothing new that we've necessarily heard, but the idea that she's using China as a peg to say this is us against them in a race. We need to make sure that America is on the leading front of that type of innovation is certainly something that we should expect to hear the administration continue to push on as this infrastructure negotiation continues down in the Capitol.